Check out Paddy Power's new and exclusive Cash Card Plus, available to use online, at ATMs or even down the local. Paddy Power, you beauty.
Hi there, welcome along to a special Racing Post Royal Ascot Anti-Post Postcast. I'm Bruce Millington, and in the company of my Racing Post colleague Paul Keeley, international racing expert Brendan Duke, and Paddy Power's super duper odds compiler and punter Frank Hickey. We're going to go through probably not all 30 races, but all the races that count, and we will go through all the best bets of each day. We'll try and sort out a multiple for you. And then I made the mistake at the start of tweeting to say I was doing this broadcast and asking people if there's any horses they want us to discuss. I've got about 127 on the list, so chaps, you better be on your toes. First of all, before we get stuck into the Tuesday card, who's going to Royal Ascot out of you guys? Frank, do you get over there for it?
No, I'll be working for the week, Bruce.
Well, did you enjoy it? Is it a good atmosphere in the office?
It is, but we generally do our hoop at Ascot, so...
Do you?
Yeah, so I kind of get rather nervous in here.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right. You used to say that before Cheltenham, but you cleaned up at Cheltenham.
This year, we take similar kind of results as Cheltenham, but Ascot seems to be a little easier for the punters to predict. So.
Also, this is the first Ascot since Brendan left, so things are bound to get better, aren't they? Keels, will you be going?
No, mate. I'll be stuck in the office all the time, won't I?
Oh, will you?
Obviously.
Oh, fair enough. All right. God, martyr. And you've got that. You own your own top hat as well, don't you? That's a shame that never gets used, does it?
I've never actually been to Royal Ascot, and all that fancy dressing up and all that just puts me right off. I like to go there to watch racing, not to watch people drink and socialise. So.
I think it's absolutely brilliant.
It's
brilliant. Honestly, don't knock it until you've tried it, Kills. It is absolutely superb, Royal Ascot. It's really good. And Brendan, are you coming over this year for it?
Yes, I am. I'll be there on the Tuesday and Wednesday.
Oh, lovely. Well, who are you in the company of?
Well, I'm in the company of Mr. James Lincoln. Massive shout out to him. Good egg that he is. I was hemming and hawing about going to Royal Ascot, and then he contacted me on Twitter to say if I was going, he was more than happy to put me up for the night. So in the face of such overwhelming hospitality, I could not go. So I'll be staying with him Tuesday night, and he's in the Royal Enclosure. I'll be in the Queen Anne Enclosure. But I'm sure our paths will cross. It's not like Romeo and Juliet, is it? Those two enclosures?
No. You can go from one. Well, one can go from one to the other. The other one can't. But you'll have a great time. The Queen Anne is the place to be. And to be honest, you're much better off with just a normal lounge suit. Right, okay, yes. Enough of that. Let's get stuck in on Tuesday. And obviously the meeting starts with a bang. It's the Queen Anne Stakes. I'm still not sure that having such a high-class race to start the meeting is wise. I thought that Frankel winning as he liked that time, it just didn't feel right. I think there needs to be more build-up. But anyway, it is what it is, and we've got one of the stars of the whole week running on the Tuesday in the curtain raiser in the form of Ribchester, who, Frank Hickey, I guess, is very short indeed.
He is. He's our 4-5 favourite. Lightning Spears 5-1. Hesham, Kima, Usherette are 12-1. Mutakayev 16-1 along with Somehow, and we're 20-1 bar.
Keels, we're looking for the potential here for a nice sort of 4 to 6 horse multiple that can't be beaten, like those old Willie Mullins ones that couldn't be beaten until Annie Power fell. Is Ribchester one such component of that bet?
He's very, very close to it, I think you'd have to say, yeah. I mean, I was looking to oppose him in the lock-ins. I thought didn't set that high a standard, really, and something could improve. And then, of course, the horse that did improve was Ribchester, and he's gone up to a level which is, which puts him up amongst some very, very good milers of yesteryear with the win in the lock-ins, the way he did it. And this Tuesday is probably the one that the day that a bit like Cheltenham, the day that the bookmakers fear the most, because there are some short ones. It's all quality racing. There's only one handicap on the card, and he's going to be very, very hard to beat. And in fact, I think the competition is so weak that I think it's almost as much of a free each way bet on Lightning Spear as well, because I don't fancy anything else. And I think now they realise Lightning Spear doesn't have to be dropped right out. He'd be the one that'd be the danger.
Brendan, what's your view of this race?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to take on Ribchester because I think Paul flagged up before the Newbury race how bad the ground was, and nothing made up ground from off the pace on that day. So I think he was slightly flattered. But what do you take him on with? I had half an eye on Usherette, but after her performance last year in the Duke of Cambridge. But I read yesterday that she's going to be supplemented for the Duke of Cambridge. I don't know why the hell she wasn't entered in the first place, so that's kind of put me away. So I just can't find anything to take Ribchester on with, so I'll have to go with him.
Righto, Frank, a race to savour rather than bet on, or do we lump on the jolly, or what do we do?
But like Ribchester was very good in the lock-ins, but I just think he's a good bit better when there's cut in the ground now. And like, if it came up with a bit of dig, he'd be nigh on impossible to beat. But if it came up on the fast side of good, I'd be willing to try and take him on. And I know, Bren, you said that there was a quote saying Australia might be supplement for the Duke of Cambridge, but Laugh Aloud was so impressive at the weekend. I'd be surprised if they did.
Well, this was yesterday, though, wasn't it? That it came out. That's why I was surprised.
Like, I've seen the quote, but if Usherette turns up here, she'll be getting £3, and if the ground is, it's just normal, good to fast in places, good firm in places. I'd definitely take have an inch of betting her. I think she's 12 to 1. I think she's got the class to give Ribchester a right run.
Keel,
especially getting 3 points.
Okay, so Usherette, there's a tentative shout for Usherette from Brendan, but a far firmer one from Frank there. Keels, just on the ground, I know you like to keep your eye on the weather and what it's going to do. What's your impression of where we might end up?
Well, I mean, you know, when you've got places like the Met Office, they have no idea. I was having a look earlier on today, and it said there is very low confidence, and then it just gave you this sort of mishmash. You know, there might be warm weather, there might be wet weather. It's far too early to say, to be honest, isn't it? Like, you know, obviously we're going to get a load of rain around this week, but
I'll tell you, based on today, it'll be absolutely heavy. It's hideous, isn't it? Today?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I mean, it dries so fast, and if they have 4 or 5 dry days, then it's back to good and faster, isn't it? You know.
Okay, that's the Queen Anne done. Let's move on to St James's Palace Stakes, and again, a couple of horses dominating the market. Frank.
Yeah, Churchill's are 4 to 6 favourite, Barney Roy 3 to 1, Bramito 12 to 1, Thundersnow 20s, Dreamcastle, Lancaster Bomber and Rivet are 25 and we're 33 to 1 bar.
Brendan, what's the betting approach here?
Well, I think it's all about the betting, Bruce. I suppose it should always be about the betting, but I just don't think there should be such a big gap between the top two. Of course, Churchill should be fav. It's quite possible he was the best horse at Newmarket, but I mean, Barney Roy nearly fell over and got beaten 2 lengths. It was only the third run of his life. You'd expect him to improve again, and you can make a legitimate case that he would have beaten him at Newmarket, but for the not handling the dip and the way the race panned out. So I just think there's too big a gap between them.
So would you? I mean, do you ever do that backing them quite short each way when they're around 3-4 to 1, Brendan? Is that not really your thing?
Well, it's not really my thing. I'll probably chance Barney win only, but on the maths it's a knocking bet because it's a fifth. I know this is a bit of a bugbear of yours, but it's a fifth, so you get 160 back for your 2 if he places. So you're effectively risking 40 cent to win 360. So you're almost getting about 8 or 9 to 1, in fact. If you don't think you can be out at 3, which you can't. So, I mean, that is actually the way to play it. You're right. And in terms of being professional about it, that's the way to play it. First time anyone's ever called me professional in relation to a betting strategy. Frank, what do you make of this race?
I'd agree with Brendan. The gap is too big, I think. Churchill definitely stepped forward in the Irish 2000 Guineas. I don't think that was much of a race, and you would have expected him to do that. If you think about everything went to plan for Churchill at Newmarket, and he's still only a length ahead of Barney Roy. I think, granted a little bit more luck in running, Barney Roy can get right close to him. And if the bookmakers go a little bit mental on the first day and he's floating about at 7 to 2, and each way bet to nothing is the smartest bet you'll have all week.
Is there anything else there, Frank, in the field at a bigger price that catches your eye?
Not for me, it's between the two. It's a match.
Keels, what do you make of it? You were keen on Lightning Spear in the Queen Anne. I wonder if there's a nice little dirty each way double with him and Barney.
Yeah, you could do. I mean, you can't see Barney out of 3. I think the one thing we need to point out, of course, is that with Aidan O'Brien, whenever he's had a Guineas winner, they tend not to be at their very best in the Guineas, and they just keep on progressing and progressing. Now, he was perfectly entitled to do what he did at the Curragh, but you'd imagine he'll come on again, and Barney Roy needs to as well. You know, so I would make him favourite. They may be a little bit closer in the betting than they are, but I wouldn't be in a massive rush to back Barney Roy.
Okie dokie, let's move on to the King's Stand Stakes then. First, the big sprints. And it's the girls on top in this market, isn't it, Frank?
Yep, Lady Aurelia is 7-2, Marsha 9-2, Acapulco 5-1, Signs of Blessing 8-1, Caravaggio and Price is 10-1, Washington DC and Muthmere are 14-1, Profitable last year's winner Alpha Delfini, Gold Dream and Ornate are 16, and we're 20th bar.
OK, I'm rotating the strike here. So, Frank, you're going first. You're going to go for one of the girls at the front three in the market, or is there some value lurking elsewhere?
Well, like, Lady Aurelia was the most impressive winner of the whole meeting last year, but, you know, Wesley Ward's 2-year-olds, you wouldn't be too keen on backing them at 3. They're just ready to go at 2. Marsha, you couldn't find fault with her. Like, the giveaway penalty in the Palace House Stakes was amazing. But there's one for me from France called Signs of Blessing. It hammered Profitable last time out in Deauville, giving it £11. And it's run here twice at Ascot. Once last year in the Diamond Jubilee, where it got caught late. Of course, Diamond Jubilee's over 6. And it ran in Champions Day Sprint over 6 as well, where again it was caught late. Now, they dropped to 5, and as long as the ground isn't like a road, I think this could be very difficult to beat. And it's a handy price too. It's 8-1.
OK, Frank, very keen on Signs of Blessing there. Kills, what do you make of this race?
Yeah, I pretty much make it a 2-horse race unless Gold Dream comes on again, and they don't include Lady Aurelia and Acapulco. Like Frank, I don't trust Lady Aurelia to come back as good at 3. Acapulco has a best racing post rating of 113 in her life when she won the Queen Mary. There are more than 20 horses that have betted that in their careers. So I just don't know what she's doing at that sort of price. And you can bet your life that if Marsha was trained by Aidan O'Brien, she'd be 7-4. To win that race, to win that Palace House under a penalty was really good. I mean, she's just come back from winning the Abbey at Longchamp, and I think she'd take the world of beating. But the danger is definitely Signs of Blessing, because he did look really good. And I just wonder if they're going to want to make it all, because I wouldn't want to see a horse making all at Ascot over 5 furlongs. Not easy to do on the straight track anyway, unless you've got a massive class advantage.
Oh, right. I didn't realise they ran the Abbey at Longchamp last year.
Oh, God, yeah.
I thought they ran it at Shanty.
Yeah, all right.
All right. I'm tempting fate there, because I'm going to mess this up. Really. Yeah, don't worry. So are you saying Marsha is the one and Signs of Blessing's the danger,
I just think Marsha should be clear market leader by some margin, and Signs of Blessing should probably be a bit shorter, and Acapulco should be double the price she is.
What about you, Brendan?
Yeah, I think the lads make a very fair point about Marsha. That was an incredible performance. I mean, it was £7. I mean, say £7 in a 5 furlong sprint is quite a margin. So that was the performance of the season. I just thought at the price as Gold Dream 16-1. Yeah, he's a very good record at the track. He's 2 from 3. He's won this race before. It looks like they've been gearing him up for this race, which makes sense. He's progressed from his first run to his second run. If he went again, 16-1 might be a little bit big.
And Brendan, as one of those weirdos who prefers flat racing to jump racing, would this be pretty much your favourite day of the year, this Tuesday of Royal Ascot?
It would be, indeed, my favourite day of the year in my favourite week of the year. Yes, that about sums it up.
Excellent, good. Right, let's move on to the 2-year-olds, the Coventry Stakes, and this is pretty wide open. Nothing's really emerged, Frank, has it, as a dominant 2-year-old as yet. So what's the betting?
Brother Bear is just favoured for us at 11-2. Dinar, De Bruyne Horse and Arawak are 6-1. Declaration of Peace is 8-1. True Blue Moon, Cody Time, Massar, Rasinja, Commander Grigio and Beckford are 14s, and we're 16-1 bar.
Very quickly, Kills, who'd you like?
Well, I thought this was, there's so many good horses from Ireland. I half expected David Jennings to be on here, and I could have a kip while he went through the lot. There's one decent one from a small stable, Raja Singh in Britain, one at Newcastle, absolutely bolted up. He's got a half-sister that finished 4th to Acapulco with the Queen Mary. I thought he could be interesting at 16-1, but I dare say, given where he's from, he's not going to get any shorter in the meantime. The Irish do look pretty good. Brother Bear looks good. Declaration of Peace was third to Romanised first time up, but then absolutely hacked up next time, and a runner-up absolutely bolted up after that. So, there's some strong ones from Ireland.
Brendan, do you think the Irish will bring it home?
I do. I was really impressed with that brother, but on both his runs, but particularly the last day. I didn't think he was mad about the ground. He was stuck out on the wing. He was a bit keen, and he absolutely slaughtered them. I mean, he was slaloming up the last furlong and still won by about 2.5 lengths. I think he'd improve for the likely better ground, and 6-1 looks pretty fair to me. Brother Bear for Brendan. Who for you, Frank?
I wouldn't disagree with Brendan entirely. I think if Brother Bear was trained by Aidan O'Brien, he'd probably be more like 5-2 than 11-2. But I don't know. I seem to be the only person who was really impressed with De Bruyne, a horse at Epsom last weekend. It was only 2 years ago Bertino used that race as a stepping stone to win the Coventry. Richard Hannon's a great record in the race, and like, despite not handling the track at all, I thought it won easy. Now, it mightn't have been much of a race, but he looks like he's a fair engine, and he'll do for me.
OK. The other two races we haven't touched upon on the Tuesday are the Ascot Stakes and the Windsor Castle Kills. Anything in there quickly?
Not really. Can't say I haven't seen anything that really interested me in the 2-year-old race, and I think you've got to see. I think you've got to see some sort of entries, because you just don't know. We've got a couple of Cheltenham Festival winners at the front with no idea where they're going to run.
OK, Brendan.
Yeah, the Ascot Stakes is all about Willie. He can run, I think there's about 5 of them he can run. Penn Hill looks the most attractively handicapped. He's still off 100, which was the mark they used to punt him every time he ran when Luca Comani trained him. So he's probably the best handicap, but whether he'll run, I don't know. So I'd keep your powder dry there.
Frank, you got anything for us?
Yeah, the Windsor Castle, this might not run here, but Santry, horse of Declan Carroll, probably go under the radar because he's coming from some old stable. He could also run the Norfolk, but he won the Brocklesbury and he went to York, and he gave, was it £6 to a horse of David O'Meara's called Consequences, who was really well backed. That horse has obviously gone on, been smashed up and won a weak race at Catterick, but that Santry is a 2-year-old to follow. And if he does go to the Norfolk, I wouldn't rule out Consequences running a big race as well if he goes this way.
OK, Santry's one of the horses that the people have tweeted in about, so that's one ticked off. We've just got 138 to go. Excellent. Let's get the day one nap. Paul Keeley?
Yeah, Marsha.
Brendan?
Brother Bear.
And Frank?
De Bruyne horse.
OK, we'll do Wednesday next.
Introducing Paddy Power's Hot Trot Jackpot, their new free-to-enter horse racing competition. Every Saturday, pick 5 horses in a free Lucky 31 bet for your chance to win the guaranteed £10,000 jackpot. T&Cs apply. 18+ BeGambleAware.org.
OK, let's crack on with the Wednesday, and we'll start with the Prince of Wales Stakes, which is, I think, the 4th race on the card. Jack Hobbs heads the market, I believe, Frank.
Yeah, well, he's joint favourite with us now. Jack Hobbs is 3-1 and now with Ulysses. Cloth of Stars is 5-1. Highland Reel 6-1. Somi Dar 7-1. Hawkbill 8-1. Deauville Decorated Knight Mutakaya for 10s, and we're 12-1 bar.
Keel's one of those races where you've got to work out who's going to run as much as who's going to win, isn't it? But have you got a view at this stage?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they've said Highland Reel is more likely to go for the Hardwick of anywhere, didn't they? So I wouldn't imagine he'll be lining up there. Ulysses, he was really impressive first time up with Sand, and he travelled superbly. But I mean, he only beat Deauville. It's not absolutely world-class form, and you can think that, hang on a minute, 3-1's a bit short, even though he's with Sir Michael Stout. I was quite impressed with Decorated Knight in the Inner Tassels Gold Cup, and for a 12-1 shot that would have preferred the ground much faster. I thought he put it to bed really well, and I think 12-1's the value bet of the race.
OK, Brendan?
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with Paul. I'd be all over Jack Hobbs if I thought he was going to run, but there seems to be a real movement to run him in the Hardwick, maybe the 1.5 mile angle, but this is a Group 1, and it looks a fairly ordinary Group 1. I'd be sorely tempted to run here. So,
unfortunately, they might do, wouldn't you? Won't they run Frontiersman in the Hardwick now?
Yeah, but they have this Cloth of Stars to run in this race, so I don't know what I mean, that would make sense. With Frontiersman isn't coming back to 10 furlongs, whereas Jack Hobbs looks like he's all the pace in the world. I'd agree with you. You'd be fairly confident he'd run here, Paul, would you?
I would have expected to. You never do know with them, but I would have expected him to.
Where do you think Hawkbill will run? Kills?
Well, that's another one. I mean, I would have thought they won't run unless he gets soft ground now. Well, I thought he needs soft ground. They're certainly not going to run all 3 in the Prince of Wales, are they? That's the problem. But I can't have him getting a 1.5 mile round Ascot, so I can't see him going up the trip.
With all that in mind, then, Brendan, are you going to hold fire on this one? Do you think?
No, I think I'm going to back Jack Hobbs. If I have Paul Keeley to blame if he doesn't run, that's all I need. It's just someone to blame. So, yes, I'll back Jack Hobbs. I think he should be clear favourite. I think he's by-hauling. There's no reason he wouldn't be improving. Obviously, his 4-year-old campaign was a blowout, so he's probably just coming to himself now, and he was wildly impressive in Dubai. Yeah, I'll back Jack Hobbs, actually.
Will you be expecting to be slightly hungover for the Wednesday meeting, Brendan, or are you so devoted to the action that you and... What's he called, Mr. Lincoln? James Lincoln?
James Lincoln.
What are you and James likely to be doing on Tuesday night, do you think? A couple of tinctures, or...?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's a local. So I'm a huge fan of local knowledge. So whatever he decides, that's what we'll do.
Excellent. Okay. Frank, what do you reckon on the Prince of Wales?
There was two I liked. I just was really taken by Ulysses Sandon. I know you could say, look, the race wasn't up to much, but he travelled like much the best horse, and he promised to be really good last year, but I think this year he'll fulfil his potential, and I think he will go off a good bit shorter. I think Jack Hobbs will be very reliant on the ground. I think unless the ground is good as the fastest, I don't think he'll run at all at Ascot. And the other one that was interesting was So Me Dar. Now, she had, I think, a muscle enzyme problem that led to her being pulled out at York, but it's the same connections that won this race in 2014 with the Fug, is that how you pronounce it? But I could see her going well at a slightly bigger price, but it's Ulysses all day long for me.
Okay, let's do the Hunt Cup next. Royal Hunt Cup, 8-1 the field. Fastnet Tempest is the fav, I believe, Frank.
Yeah, he's 8-1. Banksy is 12-1. Afghan, Chelsea Lad, Flaming Spear, Remarkable, Yufton, George William, J.K. Chesterton are 14-1. Abe Lincoln, Miranda, Oh This Is Us, Portage, Tabarak, and Victory Bond. Next Stage, LVIP and Seawolf are 16s, and we're 20s bar.
Righto then, Brendan, you can go first on this one.
Okay, well, I would like to hear what Paul has to say about whether Fastnet Tempest should run here or in the Wokingham, but I think he's vulnerable at the trip on a stiff track, so I would go for Afghan. I'm actually going for 2, but the second one is going to get a Red Bull-like ramp from Frank Hickey, so I won't take that away from him. But Afghan had a very taken comeback, only the 11th run of his life in Haydock, beat Oh This Is Us, who you couldn't beat a more solid horse. He's been put away since then. I imagine with this in mind, he got the £6, which will guarantee he gets into the race, and he's the one for me.
And who's the one for you, Frank?
I've managed to get 36 years without herpes ruining any day of my life, and along comes this herpes outbreak in Kevin Ryan's yard and ruins everything for me. I've been chipping away at this Flaming Spear now for a while, and I have it for a small fortune. I know it's the Royal Hunt Cup and you get 30 odd runners. This thing would have been a steering job. All you have to do is go back and watch it run at Newcastle there in January. Fell out of the stalls, was keen, they went really slow, and he got no run. At the furlong pole, he had nowhere to go. Robert Winston pulled him out wide, and he had 13, I think, to pass, and he passed them all in under a furlong. It was the most incredible thing I've ever seen, and they've kept him for this race, and I've just been unloading into it, and then this herpes outbreak happens. Now, there's a small chance he might run, but it's looking unlikely, and it's devastating because I think this is probably a steering job for one of these big handicaps this year. Now, there is one other one, if Flaming Spear doesn't run, who was a massive eye-catcher in the Victoria Cup and ran well in this race last year. That's Bossy Guest. He kind of got a little bit of a blocked run in that Victoria Cup, and William Buick wasn't overly hard and let him kind of cruise home. For all that, he was only beaten 2 1/4 lengths, and I'd say they've been eyeing up this race all year, and he's a massive price. He's as big as 40-1. I wouldn't put you off having a few Bobby train him either, but if Flaming Spear runs in this, have whatever you want on it.
Oh, love that stuff. Well done. Yeah, the whole explanation of that race from herpes right to end is definitely worth a clap.
yeah.
Get it? Kills advancing the Hunt
Very
Cup.
good. Well, funny enough, the 2 horses I was going to mention have already both been mentioned. I mean, one of them was Flaming Spear. In fact, when you were calling me on the line, that was the last race I was just watching on video, that race at Newcastle. And, yeah,
It's unbelievable.
He'd made the run in over a mile the time before, and he just flopped out of the stalls, and everything tugged like mad. There was no pace at all, and for him to pick up and go past a lot of them off no gallop at all, I mean, he's clearly very, very good. I think I actually backed him for the Air Gold Cup last year, but you know, whatever happened to him since over the winter, he's a much, much better horse. But obviously, there's a problem. There's a problem with that herpes. Now, Fastnet Tempest is favourite, and a little while ago he was like second favourite for the Victoria Cup, and Afghan was favourite. And I said then I can't understand why Afghan is favourite and Fastnet Tempest isn't. And now it's the other way round. I'm absolutely convinced Afghan should be favourite. Fastnet Tempest won't stay. He just does not get home. I know he ran around 7.5 furlong at Chester last time, but that's running around a bend, and this will be an absolute flat-out mile. Now, Afghan's obviously won that race at Haydock against Oh This Is Us, who's since won a listed race and run a very close third to Sovereign Debt. But the other race to look at is the Balmoral Handicap last year when he was 4th. Now, his jockey was barely had enough room to pick up his whip at any time during that race, but he just never got a run, and he basically finished 4th underhand and he was riding. And with a clear run, he'd have gone very close.
OK, so to summarise, Afjan will win, but if Flaming Spear runs, he'll win, yeah?
Well,
Everyone agreed?
You have to back him as well. You can easily back them both at 16s and 20s, can't you?
OK, let's do the Duke of Cambridge. And Laugh Aloud, who was so impressive at Epsom on Saturday, dominates the market, Frank.
Yeah, if you just give me 1 second there to get the betting. Laugh Aloud is 2-1, Kima 5-1 along with Somehow, Persuasive is 6-1, Nathra and Smart Call are 8-1, and we're 10-1 bar.
Very quickly, chaps, can anyone beat Laugh Aloud? I'll start with you, Frank.
Look, she was unbelievably impressive at the weekend, but I don't think that was the strongest race in the world. I think there was a little bit of an overreaction to Kima getting beaten at Lingfield. Like, the French are notorious for giving them a prep and not being fully wound up. She ran over 7, she needs a mile. You have to remember, she won the Coronation last year, beating Nemeralia and Alice Springs, and if she can repeat that form, she'll be mightily tough to beat, and I'd be on the side of Kima for this race.
What are you doing here, Kills?
Yeah, well, I did really like Laugh Aloud, but I mean, because she won so easily and she was only around the even money mark, they might have gone over the top because she was a genuine threes-on shot to win that race. I don't know what she was doing at that price, and she just won as she should have done. She is very good. Also, I'm actually quite interested in his Smart Call. Now with Sir Michael Strout and sort of ex-champion in South Africa, and I don't know whether she'll run at a mile, but I think a stiff mile will really suit her. She's a 2-time Grade 1 winner. In South Africa, 3 times even, and I just thought that third at York in a 4-runner race, she clearly needed it, and she was really picking up late on. Now I don't know whether they're going to want to go further with her, but if she runs in this, I'd back her.
Righto, Brendan.
Yeah, I think it's very hard to have a bet in this race because with the likelihood that Usherette gets pitched in, all the horses will be bigger prices. Persuasive is a filly I love, but again, it's very hard to back her because they mightn't risk her on quick ground. So I'll wait till closer to the time, and if Persuasive is going to run, I'll chance her.
OK, let's just whiz through the rest of the Wednesday card. We've got the Jersey Stakes, the Queen Mary and the Sandringham Handicap. Kills, anything in there?
Yeah, just the Jersey Stakes. Dreamcastle will win, won't it? I mean, he's just crying out for strong run 7 furlong. Ran in the Guineas, probably did stay actually because his finishing splits were very fast, but it was a slow run race, and I think that if he gets a fast run race, I mean, I know he's only 4-1 now, but similar profile to Ribchester, but without the penalty that Ribchester carried when he won the race last year, he'll win.
Dreamcastle for Kills. Anything else on day 2, Brendan?
Yeah, Deban will win the Jersey. She should be favourite. She's definitely going for it. I think the 1,000 Guineas form is arguably stronger than the 2,000 Guineas form, and there won't be a colt in that race able to give her away.
She can't win because Kills just said Dreamcastle will win.
Yes. So I've just corrected that.
Here, Brendan.
Perhaps there'll be a dead heat. Frank, you can be the judge. Who's going to win out?
I'm going to make it 2-1.
To who?
Dreamcastle is going to be very tough to beat, and I'd be surprised if he doesn't go off sub 2-1.
Righto, let's get the Wednesday nap. Kills.
Yeah, Dreamcastle.
OK, Brendan.
Deban.
You stubborn mules. Frank.
Flaming Spear, Herpes. What's the word I'm looking for?
Clears up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
Herpes dependent, yeah.
Just what the doctor ordered. OK, Thursday, the Ascot Gold Cup, of course, is the highlight. And Order of St George, a very warm order, Frank.
Yeah, he is 5-4 favourite. Vizirabad is 6-1. Simple Verse 8-1. Big Orange 10s. Beautiful Romance 12s. Shakeside Road and Idaho 14s, along with Sweet Selection. And we're 16-1 bar.
We'll start with you then, Frank. Is Order of St George the lay of the week or a horse to steer clear of from a bookie's perspective?
It's very difficult. I'd imagine from the day he won last year, this has been the plan to come back and try and win again.
But he's only won, I think he's won one of his last 5 races, isn't he?
Yeah, but I don't know. I just don't know if there's anything that you could be confident about beating him with. Now, I will have an each way bet or 2 against him, but I wouldn't be overly keen to lay him at the same time.
Who will be your each way shouts?
The 2 that thought were mildly interesting. Shakeside Road is very consistent. He was 3rd last year where the ground would have been soft enough for him. He won the Champions Day Stayers event here as well in October. He's solid enough at 14s, and there's one I'd give a small I'm taking a risk on breeding, but Beautiful Romance, she's not bred to get this trip, but she's not bred to get 2 miles either. And she was only beaten by Vizirbad ahead in that Maidan Gold Cup. She's about 12 or 14 to 1. Like, if she stayed, she'd probably have a chance. But if Forest St George is best, he won't be beat.
Kills, banker or blowout, Order of St George?
Yeah, I think he's a banker. I mean, the further he went, the better he was last time. And, you know, it's a 2.5 mile at Ascot. Not many horses truly stay it. And he clearly does, and at a very, very good level. If I was having an each way bet, it'd be Seswin, a Sweet Selection, who came on again when winning the Cigar at Ascot. She'll stay. She's tough. She doesn't want to get past when she hits the front. I think she'll run well.
Brendan, you'll be back in Ireland now, won't you? Watching it on the TV and lamenting the fact that you're not at Ascot. But who will you be backing for the Gold Cup?
I will be having a small each-way bet on Twilight Payment. As Paul says, not many horses truly stay. I'm quite confident, actually, that this horse will relish the trip and step forward. Now, he has to step forward an awful lot to get to the double OSG, who laughed at him in Leopardstown the last day, but that doesn't mean he can't place, and he's 25 to 1.
Brilliant, absolutely superb. 8 seconds of wisdom and wit, absolutely beautifully bundled together. Let's do the Ribblesdale. This is a wide open test this year, isn't it, Frank? 5 to 1 the field, I believe.
Yeah, just 1 second there. I just have to bring up the betting. Give me 1 minute.
Sorry, I'm not giving you many clues as to where we're going next.
Yeah, we've joined favourites. Maury and Alluring Me are 5 to 1. Shutter Speed 10 to 1. Natavia and Sobetsu 12s. Rhododendron, Coronet, Horseplay, Hydrangea 14s, and we're 16 to 1 bar.
It's a sort of consolation race for the Oaks blowout fillies, isn't it, Kills? What have you got for us?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because first of all, we have no idea what's going to run. And the horses in the Oaks were absolutely thumped, weren't they? So, you know, it's no great surprise that the horse that didn't run in it is favourite in Maury. But, having said that, I mean, she's got a race post rating of 95 for winning a listed race. Doesn't set an amazing standard. And there's a horse of Roger Varian's called Tan Sholpen, who's got a race post rating of 94 and is 40 to 1. And she was third in the Cheshire Oaks to Enable and Alluringly, who were obviously first and third in the Oaks. And while she was beaten quite a long way, it was her first run of the season. Baird had a run, and she raced very green all the way through it. I think 40 to 1, if Roger Varian decides to send her there, that's a big price each way.
Tan Sholpen for Kills. Big shout there. Frank, what do you like?
Yeah, Maury's been well backed, but as Paul said there, she's not massive value considering she's not that much ahead of the field. And the one thing I would say about this race, it suits horses that skipped the Oaks, so I'd be willing to take anything on that ran in the Oaks. There was one I thought was mighty interesting at a massive price as well, called Naughty or Nice of John Ox. Now, he's had a tough time of it, but this horse has 1 or 2 races, and they mentioned it might go for the Queen's Faz because he thought she might just be lacking the class of this. But this race doesn't look strong, and I wouldn't be surprised if he pitched her in here. She's as big as 25s. She'll definitely stay because she won over a mile 5 the last day at Navan with a stiff finish there. I thought if they ran her in the race and made use of her, she might surprise a few at a massive price.
Brendan, wouldn't it be nice if John Ox had a Royal Ascot winner? What a gentleman he is.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's been an incredible fall from grace, really. So it'd be great if you could make a comeback. Yeah.
What's your view on the race, Brendan?
Well, just that the Johnny G has a lock on the 3-year-old fillies, and I thought it was very interesting how strong that strong choice was in the betting for the Pretty Polly at Newmarket. Now, she disappointed quite badly, but it was just interesting that the way they backed her, they suggested that she was up amongst the best of theirs, giving her a break since maybe something came to light. She's 25 to 1. I don't think she'd be the colour of that if she showed up, and there's not much reason she shouldn't show up.
Excellent. The lads are all going for long shots. I'll tell you what, have you seen Ernie Els lately, Brendan?
Yes, I saw him in Wentworth. He was going well at one stage.
It's incredible how he's morphing into John Gosden. Honestly, that is one of the strongest lookalikes in sport now.
That's a fair shout.
I promise you, next time you see him, you will absolutely double take. Okay, rest of the Thursday card. We've got 4 more races. We've got the Albany. We haven't. We've got, where am I? I've lost what day it is. Hang on a sec. Here we are. We've got the Norfolk Stakes, we've got the Hampton Court, we've got the Britannia, and we've got the King George the 5th. Kills, have you got any good things in amongst that lot for us?
No, not really. Can't say I have.
All right, then, mate.
Havana Grey in the Norfolk, but it's such a fledgling market, it's hard to get an angle on it.
Righty-ho, Brendan.
Yeah, the Hampton Courts didn't possible to so many horses with other entries. The Britannia, I thought City of Joy would run in that, and he's been a bit of a nemesis horse for me. Two very well handicapped horses I thought he's beaten on his last two runs, so I'm going to stick with my read that they were well handicapped, and he still beat them. He's going places. I think he'll go close in the Britannia.
Frank, any jewels lurking in any of those 4 races for us?
Well, that Santry I mentioned earlier may run in the Norfolk, so again, I'd keep an eye on him. He looks really fast. The Hampton Court's a guessing game. We have Saldo in the betting. He was a bit of an eye catcher in the Derby. He got no sort of run. Were he to turn up in that race, he'd be very interesting. But I have the 1-2 in the Britannia for you if you want.
Great. Yes, I do.
Yeah, not satisfied with just giving you the winner. It'll be between Chessman and the Son of Stars. Now, they both were... cost me my naps on podcast previously. Chessman was given, let's just say, not the best ride ever at Haydock the last time. When Robert Hart found trouble, he stayed on beating a neck at Haydock. Should have won. Now, the bright side is he got £3. Should creep in here low enough in the weights. And he's definitely a 100-plus horse in the making. And the Son of Stars was a nap at Newmarket about a month back. Traded 1.01 on Betfair and got done on the line. Again, he didn't handle the dip at Newmarket. He's 2 from 2 on the all-weather, and as we know, the all-weather form can translate very well to Ascot. I think he's a massive player in this too. I think the two of them are your two to concentrate on.
Tremendous. I'll be having a forecast there. Kills, what's the Thursday nap?
It's very hard for you to have one, really, because I think obviously Order of St George's a certainty, but I don't like putting up shorty, so I want to have a little each way on 10 Sholpen.
10 Sholpen, and that's in the Ribblesdale. Brendan, your Thursday nap?
I'll go for that City of Joy. It's slim pickings in terms of naps, but I'll go for him.
And Frank? Nap or forecast?
Again, the forecast in the Britannia. Chessman, Son of the Stars in a reverse forecast in the Britannia.
3 days down, 2 to go.
Introducing Paddy Power's Hot Trot Jackpot, their new free-to-enter horse racing competition. Every Saturday, pick 5 horses in a free Lucky 31 bet for your chance to win the guaranteed £10,000 jackpot. T&Cs apply. 18+ BeGambleAware.org.
OK, let's look at the Friday card then, and the Commonwealth Cup, which is only about 3 years old, but which is one of the great recent 21st century inventions in horse racing, is it's the main event on the Friday. It's definitely usurped the Coronation Stakes for me, and I think pretty much everyone else. And we've got a 3-way battle this year, Frank, that is really making the mouth water, isn't it?
Oh, this is the best race of the week, I think. Caravaggio's our even money favourite. Harry Angel, 130. Blue Point, 11-2. Dreamcastle, Bound for Nowhere, both 12s. Lady Aurelia, Fast, are 16-1 and 20-1 bar.
Brendan, we'll start with you. What a race we've got in prospect here, haven't we?
Yes, well, I think Frank's covered it. Race of the meeting is right. Three cracking horses. And again, I'm going to rely on the betting, similar to the St. James's Palace, and say that there's too big a gap between Harry Angel and Caravaggio. I mean, Caravaggio is unbeaten. He's hard to knock. But in terms of what they've actually beaten, that was very good the last day from Harry Angel in Haydock. And he settled so much better than the previous time at Ascot. He seems to be getting the hang of things and could easily live up to the stratospheric aspirations that Clive Cox has for him. I think he's too big at 130.
Is there not arguably too big a gap between him and Blue Point, or will the £4 swing kind of...
Well, the £4 and just how keen he was in that race. I mean, it was an incredible effort to keep going for as long as he did. I'm basing it on the fact that he's going to settle better, because he did settle better in Newbury. And even the £4 should be enough to swing it around without that. So I'm pretty confident that he'll beat him, but okay. Less confident he'll beat Caravaggio.
Jolly good. Frank Hickey, Brendan's all over Harry Angel. Do you agree or disagree?
I wouldn't disagree at all. I was in the office the day Harry Angel ran an Ascot behind Blue Point, and straight away I said that Harry Angel will definitely beat Blue Point next time. And you'd swear I said something racist and insulting the way everyone looked at me. They thought I was mental. This Harry Angel, now Caravaggio was a tool at 2 and he looked really impressive the last day, but this Harry Angel just blows my mind. I think he's brilliant. I think he's going to be one of the best sprinters we've seen in a long time. I can't wait to see them run against each other, but I'd be pretty confident you'll get 4-1 in the morning. And look, I'm a bit of a scumbag in that I'll back it each way, and worst case scenario, you get your money back if Caravaggio does them. But I've a feeling Harry Angel might upset Caravaggio here.
Kills, are you as enthusiastic about this contest as the other lads?
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, look, the first three, how many will finish in the first three in the July Cup, probably, if they all go there. I think they probably are all that good. We might be in danger of ruling out Blue Point to the point that he gets to become real value, because, no matter what Harry Angel did there, he still did win, by the best part of 2 lengths, and he's a decent horse in his own right. And so far, he's a bit more professional than Harry Angel now. Harry Angel did settle better at Haydock, but he didn't settle. He didn't fully settle. And I would say the other two are more professional than he is at the moment. Now, if he does settle, it's great, but if it's just that stiff finish at Ascot that just makes you wonder whether he'll have it, I think Caravaggio will probably win. I think he's potentially really brilliant. But I'd imagine Blue Point is going to end up being my bet, because people are going to go so far for the other two that he'll be value.
And Keels, if you're only watching one race at Royal Ascot this year, would that be the one?
From a purist point of view, definitely, but I've got far more interesting races to bet in for me.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's look at the Coronation Stakes, in which Winter dominates the market, Frank, after a very impressive performances in the Guineas. How short is she?
She's 4 to 5. Debaya 8 to 1, Rhododendron 9 to 1, Daban 10 to 1, Talib 12 to 1, Tomris 14 to 1, along with Unforgettable Filly and Wahida, and we're 16 to 1 bar.
Kills, is Winter definitely running in this? Was someone mentioning yesterday possible Irish Oaks?
Irish Oaks, really?
Yeah,
I would have thought she had a prayer of getting home in the Irish Oaks, being that a lady's poker too.
No.
I wouldn't have thought so. I thought she'd run here. I mean, she'd just mop up all the fillies races at a mile, wouldn't she? And if anything was to happen to Churchill, she'd end up in the QE2 at the end of the year. And she'll win this. She'll win it easily.
This will be a how far job, will it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Would you be singing "This Will Not Be Beaten" after 2 furlongs, Brendan, if you back Winter?
I can sing it for you now if you want.
Okay.
With this will, the winter is coming, and she's going to cut a swathe through these. This is an absolute mortgage job.
Okay. 2 weeks and 2 days of constant singing "This Will Not Be Beaten" is quite a marathon, but she can't be beaten, according to Paul Keeley or Brendan Duke. What do you reckon, Frank Hickey?
It's like picking it off the floor, that 4 to 5. She's as good a miler filly as we've seen. She'll win.
Okay. That was the only reason I mentioned the Irish Oak skills, because I just wanted to... It does look so good, this price, doesn't it? I just didn't want some sort of nasty rerouting surprise to derail us. But, okay, this is a good thing. Right, what else have we got on the Friday, then? We've got the... let's have a look. We've got the Albany, we've got the King Edward, the... what's 7th? Duke of Edinburgh and the Queen's Vase. Kills, pick the bones out of them.
Yeah, right, in the Albany, this could be another good thing in a week. This could be this filly of Jessica Harrington's, whose name I believe I've forgotten.
Alpha Centauri?
That's it, Alpha Centauri. Yeah, she is massive, and she's really, really good with it. I mean, if someone said she was trained by Wesley Ward, you'd say you'd believe him, because she's going to come over and she's going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger compared to the rest of the fillies in the race. I know the second favourite is trained by Wesley Ward, but he's yet to have a winner at 6 furlongs as a 2-year-old in Britain. They're all speedsters, and that'll win that. Now, in the King Edward VII, I do like Sir Lewin. I know Frank mentioned it earlier on. He was such an eye-catcher in the Derby. I mean, I backed him for the Derby, and he was... he almost went down on his nose just as he was starting to motor, and he was going better than some of the ones that fought out the finish. You'd be mad to say he would have been right up there, but I bet he wouldn't have been beaten more than a couple of lengths. A lot of the ones in the King Edward VII are entered in the Irish Derby. He isn't.
He's 16 to 1, Kills.
He's 16 to 1, yeah. He's massive. He's 16 to 1. He's not entered in the Irish Derby, and while you could supplement, it would cost his owner something like half what he's won in prize money over the last 5 years, because you're not talking about a big owner like Godolphin. So, I'd imagine this is where we'll go. I do like Sir Michael Stout's Crystal Ocean, who was third in the Dante, but I'm going to have another go with Sir Lewin.
Righto, and anything in the other 2, Kills?
Not for me. No.
Okay, Brendan, anything in those 4 races that we haven't covered specifically?
Alpha Centauri, yes, I agree with everything Paul says, but she's 7 to 4. She's going to be bigger than that on the day, so I wouldn't go mad with her. And the King Edward, I happened to be in York when Crystal Ocean ran. He's a gorgeous looking horse. I imagine he'll run here. Where Stout seems to have a real affinity with this race, and he just looked to be learning on the job at York. I think he's in the Hampton Court and the Queen's Vase, but I think he'll run here and it'll be hard to beat.
Okay, Frank.
I think Crystal Ocean will be very difficult to beat, but I agree with Paul. Salwin is massive value at 16s each way. But I think Crystal Ocean, he was a massive eye catcher in the Dante, and I think this has been the plan all along. I think his half-brother Hillstar won it a few years back.
He should have run in the Derby, shouldn't he?
I think they should have taken a chance, shouldn't they not?
A bit early for him, maybe.
Yeah, I think he'll win this, but Salwin is definitely an each-way play. And although this Alpha Centauri has been built up as maybe an Irish certainty, there was one at the weekend that caught my eye. This year, like Richard Hannon's MO with 2-year-olds has changed massively in the last 2 years, where like you'd know him for getting masses of first-time out winners, and that's not the case anymore. They're definitely playing the longer game. But this Natural at Doncaster on Saturday, not only did it win on debut, but they absolutely smashed it up in the betting, which suggests this is showing huge amount at home. It's 10, 12 to 1 out there. I think this will give the Fav a right run. Look at the way the hands are improving for the run. Like if she improves like the rest of them will, or have been doing, she's a massive player and she's a massive price.
Tremendous stuff, gents. Let's get your Friday naps. Keels.
Saloon, I think.
Okay, Saloon in the King Edward. Brendan?
Winter.
Winter will just win the Corrie, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, and Frank?
I'm going to say Natural each way in the Albany.
Excellent. Right, Saturday then the meeting concludes, and we'll do... we'll go with the Diamond Jubilee first up, I think. And our old mate Limato heads the market, Frank.
He does. He's 4 to 1 favourite. Magical Memories 8 to 1, along with Quiet Reflection and the Tin Man. Acapulco Signs of Blessing are 10s. Librisa Breeze is 12s, along with Tazleet. Brando's 14 to 1, and we're 16 to 1 bar.
We'll stick with you for the winner, Frankie.
I think that Tazleet is massively overpriced still. He won the Clipper Logistics Stakes at York very easily. He won by 2.5 lengths in Magical Memory. And while a lot of people said, he was a big price on the day and the rest didn't run their race, I think if you go back and actually look through his form, take his debut out of the equation, he's only been beaten once over 6 furlongs, and that was by Shala, who was a crack 2-year-old at 6 furlongs. And he just, I don't think there was any excuse to rest him. I think he was just by far the best, and 12 to 1 is massive. I think he'll win.
12 to 1 Tazleet for Frank. Kills, before you give us your view on who's going to win this race, is this a race that slightly gets diminished in quality by the Commonwealth's emergence? I mean, it's not a bad field. This, any race with Limato in is good news, isn't it?
Yeah, you could argue. You could argue that. I mean, I suppose the thing is that less is known about the 3-year-olds, and therefore it's more exciting, isn't it? You know, you want to see something come through. Whereas we know the level of these horses. It doesn't make it any easier to find the winner, but we know that Limato has the best form in the race, and if he is happy with a new jockey on his back, apparently the owner was worried that he'd remember being on him when running badly at Maidan at the other time. I can't fathom how ridiculous that comment was. I mean, to get rid of Harry Bentley, it's a terrible thing to happen to him. As Tom Cannon said on Twitter afterwards, if all the horses remembered all the triple somersaults they did under me, I'd never get it right. You know what I mean? And it just, it's just a 6 furlong race, so I don't know what went on there. But the horse for me is still the Tin Man, though. I had an absolute lump on him in this race last year, and I think what happened was that James Fanshawe got him too ready. He was too keyed up. He'd absolutely bolted up at Windsor on his first start, and he was probably just overcooked because he never settled. The ground was soft, which probably doesn't bother him. But there was only 9 runners, and he never got any cover, and he was far too keen. I think he's come back, and he's had that quiet run at York when Firth giving the penalty away at Tazleet, and he'll just be absolutely bang on this time. And I won't have him out of the frame.
Have you given Fanshawe a call just to offer your services as a pupil assistant trainer, Kills?
No, but I'm always available to anybody who wants to know.
What do you ride out at? What's your riding weight?
My riding weight is 18 stone.
18 stone. Well,
right.
Given the stable staff crisis, I'm sure there'll even be a vacancy for you at one point.
3 times what James Fanshawe is.
Brendan, can you ride a horse?
I went for a lesson once. As I was doing it for a woman, like the reason I leave the house most of the time. I'm not sure. I was riding this pony, and it's its job. It's what it does every day, and I have a feeling it was riding me more than I was riding it. You know, it knew the course like the back of its hand, and just took me around. So I wouldn't say I can ride a horse now.
Oh, fair enough. Can you pick a winner of the Diamond Jubilee?
Yeah, well, Lamato, I don't know whether this is bias against the owner, because Paul makes a very fair point about what he said about Harry Bentley, but unbelievably, that wasn't even the most ridiculous thing he said in that statement with the whole cloud seeding thing.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I don't know if like cloud seeding sounds like something that goes on in Silicon Valley, but it doesn't go on in Dubai. I was disappointed with him in Dubai, even allowing for the ground. I thought it was a poor run. So he's a very, very good horse and very consistent. I just struggled to back a favourite off the back of that run. So I like Magical Memory in York. I mean, he drifted like a barge. Everton was against him. He was arguably unlucky in this race last year. I thought he was a solid each way bet.
I was delighted with Lamato's run in Dubai, weren't you, Frank? Wasn't that the race you put us on that 33-1 winner?
Oh, yeah,
was,
the French.
Yeah.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Should we do the Hardwick? Good old Hardwick. We think this is Highland Real's target, don't we? In which case, Frank, I guess he's going to dominate the market, isn't he?
Yeah, he's 2-1. Jack Hobbs is 4-1. Frontiersman 5-1. Poet's Word 6-1. Dartmouth 7-1, along with Hawkbill and Wings Desire. Idaho's 10-1, and we're 12-1 bar.
Go on, Frank. In 17 words or less, who's going to win the Hardwick and why?
Frontiersman should have won at Epsom. Will win here.
Yeah, that's comfortably inside the quota. Keels?
Have I got to be that short?
Yep. And you've already used up 5.
Yeah, absolutely. Frontiersman will win. I'm going to go a little bit longer because he turned into the straight and the jockey couldn't even use his whip. Every time he tried to pick it up and use it, he had to put it down and hold on to the reins. Hated the course. He'll win.
OK. Brendan?
Yes, Frontiersman for the reasons the lads have said.
Well done, lads. Very concise and very assertive. 3 votes for Frontiersman. Let's look at the Wokingham, a nice easy one to finish up with. Frank, give us a nice blast of Paddy Power's latest betting, if you would.
Fascinate Tempest is 7-1. Outback Traveller 8-1. Bucks Day and Cenotaph 14-1. Certificate Eastern Impact Projection 16-1. Birchwood, Blaine, Boom the Groom, Danzino, Edward Lewis, Flaming Spear, Gravity Flow, Jordan Sport, Kickboxer, Lapilli, Lexanawi, Naggers, Orion's Bow, Raucous, Steady Pace, Unabated, Winfast, Yufton are all 20s, and we're 25-1 bar.
Blimey. OK, so everyone who's followed these 3 geniuses' tips throughout the week is now absolutely minted. Which horse is going to put the icing on the cake by winning the Wokingham? Paul Keeley, take it away.
Well, it very much depends on what happens this Saturday, because a horse I really, really like needs to win on Saturday to get in. I think he will. It's Naggers, who was second at Epsom on Saturday. We were there. He's another horse that just didn't handle the track at all, and he's just improved in absolute leaps and bounds this year. He absolutely hacked up at first the time before. It was £10 higher at Epsom. If he'd have handled the track, he'd have won just as easily. He needs to pick up a £5 penalty to get in. The lowest handicapped horse last year got in off 100. Outback Traveller, who won it, was one of those, and he's on 95. So he has to win. I'm assuming that he'll go to Haydock because he likes soft ground, and he'll win there, and then he'll win the Wokingham.
So we're back Naggers on Saturday at Haydock, and then we've already backed him at 20s for the Wokingham, and away we go. Happy days. Brendan, what's your view?
I'm just interested in more in Frank's view, because why they are so short Fastnet Tempest. Because if I thought that Fastnet Tempest was going to run here, I do think it's the race he should run in, because as Paul has already talked about, the mile at Ascot's a big worry for him. I think he'd have no problem with 6 furlongs. He's a very strong traveller. So if Frank can come up with a good reason why he's going to run here instead of the Hunt Cup, I'll back him.
Righto, Frank, over to you.
Yeah, I think he will run here. I think a mile will probably stretch him. Fast run 6 will look ideal. Like, he's travelled so strong to the race. Now, 7-1 in this kind of field.
He's
He would be
99
for me.
as well, though, isn't he?
He's 40 on the list.
I had a look. I'd say 99 will get in this year.
Yeah.
Paul. I think 99. Like, a slight chance 98 will get you in, but it won't be 100 like last year. But I fancy one at a huge price called Normandy Barrier. He's trained by a very small trainer. Nigel Tinker, that's it. Yeah. Very good man with sprinters. This horse has run 4 times at Ascot, 2 wins, a second and an unplaced. But the last time over 6 he won probably a little bit more snug than 3/4 of a length would suggest. He only got £4. If the ground is fast, he'll have a huge chance, and he's as big as 33s. He's 25s with us.
Superb.
It's an each-way bet.
Normandy Barriere. OK, right, we've also got the Chesham, the Wolverton and the Queen Alexandra Kills. Anything float your boat in any of those contests?
Not me, no.
OK, Brendan?
Well, Clemmy is the echoes of Churchill. Of course, she's a full sister as opposed to the wife, but she also was a very eye-catching third on Irish Guineas weekend, and she's 7-1. Now, she's not going to go off even money like him, but I don't think she'll be going off the colour of 7-1, so she's probably a bet at the moment.
That's Clemmy in the Chesham. Frank, anything else for you?
I thought there was another one that Chesham. Now, I suppose it's safer to go the Ian O'Brien route, but Messar was very impressive at Goodwood on debut for Godolphin. He didn't get the clearest of runs, and there was a bit of a heap of them in a line, a furlong out, but he pulled clear with James Tate horse called Invincible Army, who cost quite a few quid as well, and they put 3.5 lengths between them and the field in a furlong at Goodwood, which I thought was very impressive. I'd say they're well above average, and they said afterwards that the Chesham was probably the likely target, and he'll do for me. OK, let's get your Saturday naps, Paul Keeley.
Naggers, if it gets in.
Naggers in the Wokenham. Brendan?
Frontiersman
will win the Hardwick. And Frank?
Tasleet in the Diamond Jubilee.
Tasleet in the Diamond Jubilee. Right, it's bet of the week time.
This will not be beaten.
Guys, you've been absolutely fantastic. So many great horses. I'm going to come out of the studio and have about 3 million quid's worth of bets. But if there was only one bet all week that we should have, who is it? Paul Keeley.
Yeah, convinced Ashjan will be favourite for the Hunt Cup and he'll win it.
OK, Brendan Duke.
Yes, I think would have been an anti-post, especially what we need is a horse who should be favourite and who will run in the race, and that would be Deban in the Jersey Stakes.
OK, and Frank Hickey.
Depending on this herpes situation with Kevin Ryan's yard, Flaming Spear would be it. But provided on the chance that my heart is broken and he's not allowed to have a runner, I would say Tasleet in the Diamond Jubilee Stakes.
Tasleet, OK. Now, before we get stuck into the tweets, we'll just rattle through a few of them. Frank, have you got an each-way Yankee for us?
An each-way Yankee?
Yeah, or a lucky 15 or whatever you prefer.
Yeah, so just 4 horses. Tasleet in the Diamond Jubilee, Signs of Blessing in the King's Stand, Crystal Ocean in the King Edward, and Frontiersman in the Hardwick. OK, right, I'm going to chuck a horse and then a name, and I want a very quick answer on each. Beckford in the Coventry, Paul Keeley.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. One trained by Gordon Elliott. It was pretty impressive first time up. He thinks he's very good. He's entered it in the Phoenix as well. Be interesting, but it's so hard to say with so little form over.
Brendan, Aqaba next time on a sounder surface. Opinions on that one? ?
I'll have to pass on that one. I don't know who Aqaba is.
OK, well, you can have this one. Which one of Willie Mullins's will win?
I think he'll chance running Penn Hill off 100 on the Tuesday, and if he does, I think he's very well handicapped. The Ascot Stakes.
Paul Laidler is full of questions. He wants to know about Winning Ways, Toricador, Mirage Dancer, Talieb, and Romanised. Frank, which of those do you want to comment on?
Romanised impressive on debut at Navan, but Declaration of Peace, I think, was third, won a Egg and Spoon race at Dundalk, and the second and fourth been beaten since. I doubt he's good enough to win a Coventry. OK, someone called the Racing Blogger, never heard of him. Ask Keeley how many pounds in hand Fastnet Tempest has, and Cheeseman, wink emoji. Tell the Duke I said hello, Keels.
Yeah, Fastnet Tempest probably does have a few pounds in hand if he goes in the right race, which would be the Wokenham. I think there might be a couple of others with more in hand. I know Frank's all over Chessman. Is it Chessman?
Yeah.
Rather than Cheeseman.
Yeah,
he knows more about it.
OK, Frank, did we do Twilight Pavement in the Gold Cup? Joe?
Yes, I gave that a shout.
Okay,
Brendan gave that a shout, yeah?
Yes, you did indeed. Craig,
Aqaba, by the way, was fourth to Brother Bear in Ireland on soft ground, having won on fast ground at Ascot. He will be better on fast ground, but still needs a big improvement. OK,
we've already had a big up for Dream Castle, Craig, and also Craig Santry. Frank's mad on that one. Could you ask Frank for his mad Maltese? Yeah, we got that. Diora Lear for the Ribblesdale, very funny. Journey in the Hardwick, Brendan.
Journey in the Hardwick, yeah, it would be interesting. I thought she was a little bit disappointing at Epsom. Only Maddie made the very fair point that she tends to come on for a comeback, but they backed her. They really backed her strong, like she was ready to go, which kind of makes sense in a Group 1 as well. So I'll say no, based on a little bit disappointing in Epsom.
Okay, don't forget to get some dog food on. Oh, no, that's from a text from the wife. Sorry. Whiteout looked to rob that race the last day, says Tony Keenan. Whiteout, anyone?
No, I don't think she robbed it. She just galloped them into submission, but this would be a fair step up. That was an ordinary race.
Okay, we've already had some shouts for Clemmy. John Constable, can that make the frame in the Queen's Vase? Apparently looked a picture last time. Paul Keeley.
I can't say I know all that much about him in the Queen's Vase, to be honest.
Okay, someone else has just put Clemmy. We've already touched on that one. Next stage for the Hunt Cup. Can anyone give that a chance?
No.
No? Okay. Ronald R, trained by Michael Burr, is one of the best bets of the meeting in my eyes, according to Ben Morgan. Kills, what do you know about Ronald R?
I better just have a look.
He was the one that beat some of the stars at Newmarket. I can tell you now, it has no chance of upholding that farm.
No chance whatsoever, right?
None.
Okay, chaps, thank you so much. That was absolutely brilliant. I'm in awe of your wisdom and your form knowledge. I hope there are plenty of winners there. Folks, thank you very much indeed for listening. I hope you found that useful. Don't forget, we will be doing daily postcasts every day from Royal Ascot. Hopefully, Brendan, given that you're there, you can be in one or two of them, can't you?
Yes, I think I'm doing one on the Tuesday.
Oh, brilliant!
It's at 11 a.m. So hopefully I won't be hungover or anything. But I'll bear that in mind.
Good stuff. We look forward to that, and don't forget to join us on Friday as we look ahead to this weekend.
Check out Paddy Power's new and exclusive Cash Card Plus. Available to use online, at ATMs, or even down the local. Paddy Power, you beauty!